Spencer, a 2-1 home victory over Eastleigh in the final pre-season friendly. How do you think this afternoon went?
I think it was a real physical challenge, probably more like what we'll face in the league during the season. First half in particular was a horrible game with no quality, two teams just hammer and tongs at it, and I thought our defensive shape was particularly good throughout the whole game. If you analyse it, they've had some set pieces where they've had the one shot, which Jack makes a great save at, and then a complete ricochet at the end there for a consolation goal, which is sometimes one of those things where, you know, it's happened. And, you know, I thought we deserved to win the game, but more importantly, I thought it was a really good workout. Apologies to the fans, I think most of them knew it wasn't going to be great. It wasn't a great spectacle. Limited opportunities to show quality. We couldn't put water on the pitch because the pitch is still growing, and it meant that it was a slow game. But with the exception of a knock to Robbo, we've come out of it fairly unscathed, and I thought it was a very, very good exercise.
We had Lucho back in the second half as well. How did he find today?
A little bit shocking that he made himself available, and must put on record to give Louis and his family all the very best. He shot off to have a baby at half time, so our thoughts with him. I'm sure that go well, and many congratulations when that happens, and thank you for doing it a week now rather than next week. Look, Lucha's, you know, we've been over it before. He's got to get himself fully fit. He's a class act, and you could see that in minutes there. So good to get him 45 minutes. I thought Mason was great. I said, look, there's loads of pluses to it because it was such a challenge. You know, three massive centre halves for them, strong players. Obviously, we didn't risk Dom today. We didn't risk Luch into the second half. There were other bits. We changed the shape slightly. So, you know, it's one of those that it is still pre-season, state the obvious. We're all preparing for next week. We didn't get injuries. And I think, as I said, defensively our shape was excellent, what we restricted them to. And, you know, we've hit the post. The keeper's made a great save. We had the great chance in the first half with Frank. So, look, on balance there, we deserve to win games. And ultimately, that's what's important from next week.
And of course, 2 goals for Ben Greenwood this week. Hopefully he can make a habit of it.
Yeah, it was a great strike, great strike. You know, it's everybody's got to step up now. You know, with pre-season, you know, just a week to go, and everyone's got to step up. You know, we demand so much more. We demand quality on the ball. You know, it's a challenge, and it's a great squad. We're nearly there with what we're doing, and fingers crossed. You know, with the exception of John Anunga, who's going to be a good few weeks. You know, we're fit and healthy. We've protected players today. We've protected the shape a little bit today. But as I said, there's lots of pluses. It wasn't a great spectacle. I don't want to pretend otherwise, especially in the first half. I thought the second half we were, you know, deserved winners, and you know, real quality. You know. Brilliant from Mason again, very unlucky to hit the post. Great save from their keeper, and as I said, their goals come from a ricochet that sometimes there's not an awful lot you can do about it. Obviously I would have liked a clean sheet, but as I said, we hope that Louis Fernandez for them is okay. Fingers crossed it is, and we wish Eastleigh all the best for their season.
And of course you mentioned the late goal for Eastleigh there. Do you think perhaps in hindsight that's a good way of seeing the games out, good practice?
Look, I mean, I said when we scored the second, then we both teams made, I think, 4 subs. You know, let's get into good habits. But it was a ricochet goal. I need to see it again. It was, you know, I don't think it was a foul as well. So they gave them the free kick, but the ricochet went their way, and the guys put it away, which is disappointing. But I'd rather that happens today. As I said, it's all about prep for next week. It was still quite a hot day today. You know, pitch was dry. It was good minutes into legs. It was great to get a couple of the trialists that aren't really trialists good minutes. So look, generally got to be very pleased. We are where we are as we get down to the real action of the season.
And of course, it's quite a new squad. Are you happy with the squad that you've built over the past few weeks and months?
Well, I'm happy, but you can always be a lot happier. There's no question about that. Look, things take time to gel. You never really know. You're never ready. There's no question about that. It's especially when you're as part-time as we are. You know, there's lads that are still not anywhere near where they should be fitness-wise. There are lads that are on fire at the moment, and things change, and you just don't really know where you are. Those opening few games, they're normally horrible. I watched or tried to watch some of the first league game last night on the TV, and it was just head it, kick it, smash it, and teams are nervous. They don't want to lose. There's loads of adrenaline going on. So, and I think, as I said, the reason we put on today was that basis that we knew it would be as close to a National League South game, and it was. It was, with their pace up front in Aaron Blair, and I thought we handled him very well generally, but he still scores. There you go, and and the strength and size of them. It was a great exercise for us, but it all counts for nothing. It all counts for nothing when it goes into reality. And we're relatively clean health. And as I said, you saw on today's team, we made changes, we looked at people, and but of course we're all really looking forward to next Saturday.
Yep. And just finally, what is your message to the supporters ahead of the start of the new season? We host Eastbourne here next Saturday.
Please turn up. It was a little bit like summer camp today, and I'm very grateful for those who did. We desperately need your support. It's a really exciting division. We've got some great players here. The club have really backed me. We've got a fabulous squad. We're a real balance of youth and experience. We've got some great youngsters and some fabulous experienced players, local players. It's going to be an up and down season, of course it is. I don't think anyone will say any different for any team in the division, let alone ourselves. So we need your support more than ever. We're all looking forward to it. The place looks fantastic. We're in a great place. We've had a fantastic few years, and fingers crossed we'll need some luck. We'll start the season well, and as I said, can't wait to get going.
Brilliant. Thanks, Spencer, and good luck for next weekend.
Thanks very much, Dom.